Hello, we are back once again. This is John.
Hey, it's Paul.
And it's Eric.
Hey, look, all three of us are here. Yay!
Hey, I missed you
It's
guys.
like a family reunion.
I was gone last week. I missed you.
Yep. Yeah, we missed you too. He was traveling. He, iced us on messaging and everything. We're trying to talk to him. He's not talking to us.
I am so bad at that when I'm out of town. Because then, I'll miss something because I'm working or doing something, and then so much time has gone by. I'm like, well, it's weird to answer now. It's been, 2 hours or something, and so I'm like, all right. That's where we are now. Like, if you don't answer in an hour or 2 hours, just forget it. Doesn't even make sense.
Yeah.
They've sent me like 10 messages at this point.
Right.
I can't answer now. That
Right.
would be awkward.
It would be totally awkward
Yeah.
to let my friends know I'm alive. I literally sent him a picture of Tom Hanks from Castaway, like, dude, you all right?
I should have sent you a picture of a volleyball.
You should have. That would have been great. All right, so, this is What If Geeks, as always. Today is June 11th. We are a few days before Father's Day. And since we're all fathers, to varying degrees of success, I guess. Well, we figured we'd talk a little bit about Father's Day and, the best and worst fathers in...
Mine are still little. It's too early for them to have either been arrested or work on a pole. So
Yeah. See,
there's no telling.
Like I always say, I got 3 that are in their 20s and one 7-year-old. So I always threaten him with the fact that, look, that's a 75% that I got to adulthood. So that's a passing grade. So if you don't make it, I still pass. So we're going to talk about the best and worst dads in, I guess, our geek culture or whatever. We'll figure something out on that one. But first thing I want to do, right before these guys got here, or right before, as in a few hours ago, because time just rolls together for me these days. I got a notification on Twitter that we had basically gotten a shout out kind of thing, or a referral or something. Somebody tweeted about us, and I was like, what in the hell? So it was a gentleman by the name of Todd Coopy. I hope I'm saying that right, dude. But basically he was just saying, hey, check out the What If Geeks podcast and kind of what we do, whatever, and he kind of dropped a link to us. And I went to his website, and it's a whole site regarding all kinds of different things, either where to visit or what to listen to or watch or whatever. And everyone writes these different articles about different things that they're into or whatever. So the article was actually from today, and it was by Joanna Hauser, and she wrote a nice little tidbit real quick about us, and it was cool. So I was thank you to the both of them, and go to Toytales TOYTALES.ca and go check them out. So
my man Todd.
Maybe somebody or our girl Joanna. Either way, I don't
right.
know who's actually listening to us at the time, but
We'll take it. That's awesome. Thank you, guys.
Appreciate it. So there you go. We're now we got 4 listeners. All right. So on that note, okay, we lost power because Florida's doing great today.
Right.
Now we're all back to normal.
Yeah.
Florida in June in the summer.
Yeah. Well, it's much needed rain, so I'm not going to complain. My grass is finally I'm not dying.
I know.
Yeah.
Well, it'll be here till September.
Yeah. It'll be hanging out here. It may bring a hurricane or 3. But, so now that we've broken for the weather, we got our power back. It was kind of weird, and Audacity was kind of playing tricks on us, so we're going to have to stitch that intro back into this thing. This is going to be fun. All right, so now we are, what I was about to say before I got rudely interrupted by a blackout was since Paul's been gone, I'll let him pick. Do you want to go through what are you into, or do you want to talk about Florida Man?
Let's start with Florida Man.
All right.
My favorite of the terrible superheroes, the Florida Man, is world-renowned for doing dumb stuff, doing terrible things with terrible things, and sometimes hitting people with foodstuffs and terrible things like that. So today, and I hope I'm not stealing this because this one was awesome, Florida Man tells deputies the cocaine on his nose is, quote, not his.
Was that yours?
No.
Oh,
Okay, good.
Yeah, I did see that one, though.
There's a picture of the guy, and there's a very visible white powder, and it says, a Florida man was arrested over the weekend after authorities caught him with cocaine on his nose at a traffic stop. At around 4:30 a.m. local time. By the way, that's when all good cocaine stories happen, is like 4:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
Deputies from the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office, that's Tampa for everyone who's not from Florida, pulled over a vehicle at a traffic stop. When authorities approached the car, deputy immediately noticed that a passenger in the car, later identified as that guy, had a white powdery I don't want to blow up his spot,
Florida man.
Although his name is on the internet now as Florida Story, but whatever. Had a white powdery substance on his nose. Blah, blah, blah. Oh, where'd it go? Deputies photographed Jimenez's nose before swabbing the substance for a field test. Proved to be the substance was cocaine.
Nice.
Jimenez was arrested without incident, but he attempted to tell the deputies the cocaine on his nose was not his.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right, Eric, you know what? Let me jump in here just before you go, because I think that maybe Paul and I talked about this one at one point, but I can't remember if we were actually on air when we talked about it, because it was from a little while back. But this is my Florida man story was armless Florida man in Miami stabs tourist with feet. Did we talk about that?
No.
Okay, maybe it was me and Heather talking about Florida man stuff. Yeah, so some homeless dude in Miami held scissors with his feet and like stabbed a whole bunch of tourists.
Wow.
Again, I didn't write his name down either.
I wondered if it was going to be that or if he just had very sharp feet.
He was armless?
Yeah. So this is to show you that
he was wielding the.
He was holding them in his feet.
So how was he chasing them?
No, I think they were going by and he was
like
stabbing
hiding
them.
around a corner with them.
This story just got a whole lot better. He's just stabbing the shit out of people.
Sort of just laying down, stabbing at them with his feet.
Oh my goodness!
Oh shit! Did you get robbed? No, this armless dude stabbed me around a corner. What the hell just happened? So that just proves that Florida man might be stupid, but he's resourceful.
I have so many questions. How did he get the scissors? Did he buy them?
Well, he's homeless. He probably found them in the trash.
Okay, that would be better. I was trying to imagine how he gets his wallet out of his pocket.
But he would have
I'd say it was a 5-finger discount, but we know that's not true. Whoops.
He would have to dig through the trash with his feet.
I'm pretty sure he does everything with his feet, Paul.
Even that's the least efficient. I mean, it's his only option. I get
first into the fucking bin
with his face.
with his feet kicking out. This took a really dark turn, as we are known to do. Okay. Oh my god,
that's awesome.
All right,
you done with your questions now?
Yeah,
it's getting worse.
I still have many questions.
It's getting worse.
I'm going to leave them alone. All right, so
you're welcome.
I have a Florida man. We talked about it a few days ago, but it wasn't on air, so I'm just going to do it now. But Florida man says he broke into homes because alligators. Now, this is Collier County. He was arrested, this has been last week, Tuesday, I guess, breaking into several private properties. He told authorities he did so to escape pursuing alligators. Let's see, Brian Berkeley. Oh, I'm not supposed to put his name? No, that's all right. Cape Coral. He faces charges of burglary, grand theft, and criminal mischief. Now, it gets a little more interesting just because the first house he broke into, he stole ice from the ice chest, and then he went on to break into a truck, and he told the deputies he was running from alligators and he was thirsty.
Yep, that'll do it.
Nice,
Florida man.
If anyone's wondering what the creaking noise was, we're not haunted. That was my daughter going through a deep freezer. I really need that soundproof curtain. All right, so that's Florida man. God, we love Florida man. All right, so I guess what are you into? I can tell you right now, as far as reading, I'm doing the same like old school comics like G.I. Joe and whatever, and then like I'm still trying to like power my way through it because it's not working. Stephen King's It, not just It.
Yeah,
yeah. I'm trying to get that read. I'm probably just going to hand you the book and let you read it. I'm just like, I love the book, but I've read it so many times that I kind of like forget that I'm reading it. You know what I mean? So it just kind of sits on my nightstand and I read articles and other things and I'm like, oh yeah, I'm going to read. Oh well, it's like 1 o'clock in the morning. No, not doing that. But so yeah, that's what I'm reading. I'm just a bunch of old comics and Stephen King's It. How about you guys?
So let me start with watching because I saw Brightburn over the weekend.
Take a sharp left. All right, good.
Yeah. And have you guys seen it yet?
No.
So I was traveling. I was in St. Simon's Island for work, and the hotel I was staying in was attached to a mall. And like 500 feet from the front door of the hotel is a movie theater. Like it was less than a minute walk from there to there. And I'm like, if this works out, if I can see, it was, I don't know, I got back from dinner at 8 something, and I'm like, what time is Brightburn playing? And I looked, and I'm like, hey, honey, how you doing? Okay, love you kids. Bye, good night, gotta go. Ran over there.
I really gotta poop.
Yeah.
What? Okay.
Ran over there. It's a really good movie.
Okay, good.
It is, not all the good scenes are in the previews.
Good, thank God.
So I don't want to spoil anything, and you kind of get the gist from the preview, right? It's kid comes from space, a little bit of the Superman story,
Right.
kind of goes crazy.
Yeah. It's Elizabeth Banks is his mother, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And,
Side note, but a tangent. Sorry, that she's hosting the new Press Your Luck game show.
is that right?
Yeah.
No
we
whammies,
were talking about
no
like,
whammies, no whammies, stop. Yeah.
Too bad. I'm gonna give her a whammy. Whoops. Again, sorry.
Whammy, stop.
Yeah, she'd be telling me to stop. Okay, go ahead. Brightburn.
Yeah, really good movie. The ending, I thought, was... It's not unsatisfying, but I don't know how else I would have ended it.
Okay.
And then there's this really cool scene at the end, a little bit past the credits. And
It's like a mid-credit kind of thing.
Yeah, and it sort of alludes to kind of a Justice League of sorts. Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
Okay. I gotta
So
watch this
I'm really trying not to spoil it. There are some pretty gory death scenes. Surprisingly,
Okay, I'm in.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, I was in when they said bad Superboy.
Yeah.
I was like, hell yeah, I'm going to do this.
Yeah, there's
I
a
got to
couple.
watch it. I'm going to have to watch it online. Oops.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
I'm going to have to go to one of my sources.
You should. I don't know, because I've done that before for some movies. It's worth seeing in the theater. If you can,
Yeah, I know. And
if
what
you
I'll
can
do
make
is I'll check just to see the quality of it. If it looks decent, then I'll go ahead and watch it. But for the most part, I try not to watch too many movies that I really want to see at home. I try to go because I want to support them.
Yeah.
But we were just talking about this. We literally have like a dozen movies in the next couple of weeks that we want to go see, between the kids' movies and this and that, whatever. Like he wants to go see Secret Life of Pets 2. And then Friday, Men in Black International drops. And we're like, really? So, yeah, something's got to give at some point.
Yeah.
So I check feeds and see where there's a decent copy of something, and then I kind of bite the bullet.
Yeah.
But for the movie, so guys, since Eric, you haven't spoken a word about anything you're into.
I've really got nothing to say.
Okay.
I've been doing some catch up this past week, catching the family up with things so we can watch movies together. Like
Right.
My oldest daughter had never seen Unbreakable.
Yeah, I remember we were talking about that.
Yeah, but we want to see, of course, Glass. So you gotta get everybody caught up, So we've been doing some of that with some comic book movies too, some MCU stuff for the kids because they haven't seen the Endgame, the little ones. So
Okay.
just catch up mostly.
Nice. And Paul, you haven't seen the Glass, or did you see Split?
I've not.
Okay.
Did not see Split. Saw Unbreakable.
Right.
But it's been a while.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I think you'd like them, but all right, because I did watch Glass, so yeah, that's one of those where all three of us are on a different page. For the movies, I just took Noah to go see Godzilla, King of Monsters.
Did you like
the
it?
other day? All right, so the first thing I got to say, I think it was like you were out, and Eric and I, it was last week when we were recording. I think that's when I was telling you about the reviews that I've been reading about.
Yeah, I think so.
Godzilla, right? So first things first, Noah's been dying to see this movie, so we had to work for like about a week to get him to sit down and watch the last one from 2014. And that one kind of like, it scared him a little bit, but he was like, I said, so do you still want to watch King of Monsters? And he was like, well, yeah. And I said, well, why if you're scared? And he goes, well, because it's going to be the monsters fighting each other. And I said, so the only part that really scared you was like when the humans were in trouble or whatever. He was like, yeah. And I said, okay, well, it might still happen, but I think it's mostly monsters fighting. And he goes, it's okay, I want to see it. I'm like, all right, fine. So we were like all over the place. We were like 2 towns over, and I thought my wife had bought the tickets and she thought I bought them, and it was just me and Noah. and I like went to go look, and they were sold out. I was like, oh well, damn, because it was like right sitting literally at the screen. So I'm like, nah, I'm not doing that. So then I looked across town, and I found one, and it was open. I was like, all right, well, by the time we get there, we'll have literally like 15 minutes to spare to walk in, get popcorn, whatever. Bought the tickets online. We drive over there. I go to the theater, and it's the AMC in the mall over there.
Okay.
Right? So I go over there, and I look up at the billboard as we're walking in, because now I've got like the little scan code on my phone that you just walk in, right? I forgot about that for about 2 minutes. And then I was like, oh, yeah, I don't have to stand here. So I look up at the marquee, and that time is like, blah, 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 Godzilla, King of Monsters, real 3D. And I was like, oh, it's in 3D. Okay, that would explain the price. But I was like, so I looked at Noah. I was like, it's in 3D. You good with that? And he was like, yeah. I was like, you haven't seen a 3D movie before, have you? And he's like, no. I said, all right, well, this is going to be an experience for you. So we go, popcorn, whatever, we get settled. And it was cool. Sit down. There's a small theater, the one we were in, but it's the 3D one. Get the cool little glasses. It's not like back when we were kids when you had like the red and blue.
The red and blue, yeah.
Yeah, it's really cool. Like shade-looking things, right? So the thing starts, and we're watching it, and yeah, like the reviews that I was telling Eric about was the only thing I read about this movie was they said like, oh, Rotten Tomatoes gave it a bad score, critics gave it a bad score, but audiences loved it. And the article was like, well, the critics are going, you can't just have two hours of monsters beating the hell out of each other. And audiences, yes, we can. That's exactly what the fuck we want.
Right.
And, well, that's pretty much exactly what this movie is. It's like, it's nonstop. And by the time we walked out of there, I looked at Noah. I was like, what did you think? He was like, that was awesome.
Yeah.
It was amazing. It was literally like, there was, you got your typical, like, the girl, Millie Bobby Brown, the one that plays 11 in Stranger Things. Mm-hmm. She's in it. You recognize a couple of the other actors that are in this, right? But when they're running around doing whatever, there is a couple of, like, would that really happen? I don't know, but suspend disbelief because really all you care about is the monsters fighting each other.
Suspend disbelief past the giant monster part?
Or? Right, exactly, yeah. You've accepted the fact
right.
that these monsters are running around. So, and they kind of describe it in the trailers too, where like basically these monsters are the titans that roamed the earth before, mm-hmm. and there's a balance there. So there are some bad ones and some good ones and whatever, and it's a knockdown, drag out fight. That's pretty kick ass. Yeah. So all in all, it's a really good movie. Just like definitely, that's another one. Go see it in the theater.
I saw the first Godzilla, the 2014 Godzilla.
Yeah.
Sunday.
And we have to
Last
specify
Sunday.
this because there was also the one from the 90s with Matthew Broderick that should be burned. And not Matthew Broderick. I mean, I still kind of like that guy. The movie.
Right.
The movie should be burned.
Yeah, the newish Godzilla. My wife left town and she took the kids to go see her parents and our niece and nephew. And so Sunday I got to watch that. I watched the first John Wick. I was doing some catch up. And so I saw that Godzilla and I was like, this is pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah, well, it's more of the same.
Yeah.
Only it's like ramped up. Like, yeah.
Oh.
The humans are in there running around, but yeah.
I learned there was a monster verse, which is what they're calling the sort of Godzilla, which will lead to the Godzilla King Kong battle.
Yep.
In I guess a movie next year.
Yeah, sometime next year. Because they never talk about Kong in the movie. They reference Skull Island numerous times
mm-hmm.
because they're doing whatever, but they never talk about Kong. And then, like, throughout the credits, you start to see it kind of ramping up.
But at the end of Kong, that they talk about
Monarch, the company Monarch,
yeah.
or the organization Monarch gets the survivors in the room. Yeah, and they talk about, and then that's when they show the silhouette of Ghidorah. Mm-hmm. King Ghidorah. Yeah, that one, the 3-headed guy. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they did a really good job with it. Dude. It was like really cool. We loved every minute of it, so it was cool. So yeah, that's what we were watching in the movies. And there's a shit ton that I need to watch still that I'm just like, I don't know. Eventually, one day, I'll sit down and watch every freaking movie I need to watch. I don't know when. Let me see. Okay, on TV, the only thing I watched recently, I'm trying to get to sit down and watch Black Mirror. I know you can talk about that. I haven't seen it yet, so I got to watch it. But I've been watching Fear the Walking Dead because I'm a big Walking Dead nut, and Fear for a little while kind of lost me, and then it started to pick back up again. And like this season is getting really good. I'm enjoying what they're doing with it right now. They're kind of like stuck in an area where there was like a radioactive area that may or may not have like had a fallout. You know, like one of the reactors kind of went down. So there's like a whole thing there that they're dealing with. That's pretty cool. I mean, the show is doing some good things, so I like it.
So on that note, you mentioned Black Mirror.
Yeah.
Aside from catching up, I did watch. There's only three episodes in this.
I was very disappointed
season.
to read that. Yeah.
So I, it's my understanding that because they did Bandersnatch, did you see that?
Yeah. Actually, we did a whole
thing about that.
Okay. Before my time here, I guess.
Yeah.
But so Bandersnatch was originally supposed to be part of this season. So I guess since they made it an offshoot movie thing of its own, they decided to just finish the other shows that they had for the series and call it done.
Okay.
I don't know if they were budget constrained or episode constrained or what it was, but for some reason that's how it landed. But I will say this season, in my personal opinion, sucks compared to the previous ones. Well, because the whole premise of the show has always...
Bloom is off the rose. Okay.
Okay. No, I'm not going to spoil anything for it, but the whole premise has always been, you take something that you have today, some modern technology, something, right? And what if it? What if this went to the extreme? None of the episodes in this season are like that. They are technology based. It's about something, but they made it about like the characters and stuff going on between the characters and pretty much all three of them. So it's no longer what if the technology went off the rails. It's more of a
what if the character went off the rails with technology?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay,
it's kind of sort of tying it. I don't like that as much. I like the idea of the technology like going too far.
Right. Yeah. All right. Well, I'm gonna have to check it out. I guess.
Yeah, you have to watch it still.
Yeah.
You might still like it. There's actually a Miley Cyrus is in the last one.
I read that in an article that she's in one of them. So
they've never had like a real actor, like famous actor, in any of them really. So it's kind of I guess there's been a couple.
There was a couple, but like whether or not you actually recognize them, like it took me a second to realize that Bryce Dallas Howard was in one of them. It takes a minute, but there's a couple of them that you're like I know them, but yeah. So.
Anyway, not A-list people you'd recognize right off the bat.
Right.
We have one this time. Actually, two. First episode has one too, but
yeah. I know Anthony Mackie's in one of them. Yeah.
You guys are HBO guys, right?
Yeah.
Are you watching Chernobyl? I hear that's amazing.
Oh yeah, I got up.
We talked about it.
Oh,
we did.
When I was here.
Alternate Paul.
We did.
You mentioned it. We didn't actually talk about the show. You mentioned it in it was like one of the last times we were all three together. You mentioned that you were watching Chernobyl. And then you and I talked about it like offline later.
No,
I was not part of that.
I think it was on a recording somewhere. You and I talking about.
It must have been last week.
Because I got up to like episode 3. I told you I had to go back and.
Yeah.
Had to go back and read the actual history
I
and
could
see
have sworn
how
you briefly mentioned it to.
True, they were.
I
think that was our episode of you and I.
There you go. All four of you jump online and email us and let us know who's right. I'm pretty sure that we mentioned it when all three of us were here, but it was real brief because neither one of us had seen it.
Yeah.
But Heather and I watched like the first half of the first episode, and we were like, it's kind of slow. And Eric was like, yeah, it is slow, but you got to kind of get through it first, and then it picks up. So I'll probably rewatch it again when she's not around, because she was definitely like, yeah, this is something you can watch.
Yeah.
How far have you gone, Paul?
I don't have HBO, but I hear people talk about it, so I wanted to know if you guys had seen it. The one thing I hear is, why do all these Russian people have British accents?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's a bit of a... It doesn't really bother me, though.
But I think it's, I think that just might be like the British way of filming stuff. They're like, just pretend we have Russian accents.
Right.
And, you get the idea. Just shut up and, I don't think the British people are complaining about it. I think it's like American people that are complaining about it. Like, why do they all have British accents? Because the British people are like, they're more sophisticated than we are.
Right.
And they're like, we don't care.
Well, so we'll find a way for you to watch it, Paul, if you want to.
Yeah, I think I've got...
I can use my Go account or something.
Yeah, his Go account or my Amazon. We'll watch it. We have HBO through Amazon Prime or something crap like that. Yeah,
we need to get.
So at risk of being repetitive, because I might have said this on a previous episode, the first episode is really slow, and it's a bit more about just sort of what happened and how people reacted in the cities outside and stuff. But after that, it gets a little more edgy with a Communist Party coming in and trying to control things and like cutting stuff off and controlling the message that was going out. Like that's where it gets more interesting. And for the most part, it's true to form. There's or true to history, I guess. They've used real character names and a lot of that stuff. But the one thing they manipulate, I know of so far anyway, is there's only 2 scientists that sort of figure out the different ideas of what to do. In reality, there's hundreds of them that were involved. Anyway, I won't harp on it. We can watch it.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, I'm gonna have to jump on there again, check it out. Apparently by myself. All right, so there you go. That's anybody else got anything for what you're into?
Yeah, I found a new podcast when I was traveling, and I can't stop listening to it. It's called
What If Geeks?
Of course, that one. It's called To Live and Die in L.A. And it's did you ever listen to Serial?
No, but I know of it.
So it was the case of this kid who allegedly.
You knew I was going to make a Rice Krispies.
Yes, I figured it was coming. It followed the case of this guy named I think it's Adnan Syed who allegedly killed his girlfriend 10, 15 years ago, something like that. And that's really fascinating. Kind of follows it all the way through. Anyway, this one is Neil Strauss is the host. He's a reporter for Rolling Stone. He's written a couple books. And he essentially digs into this case of this missing she's from Macedonia who came over here to try to be an actress. And she just up and disappears. And so the family is trying to find her. And the cops aren't really interested in investigating it all that hard. The family has been, so they hire a private detective, and then the story kind of starts to get really weird in why is this boyfriend lying about where they are? Like, all this stuff starts to happen. And so I'm like 6 episodes in, and it's just one of these, because it's about kind of a real life case, just super interesting. And every time it ends, I'm like, oh, download the next one. Let's go.
All right, cool. To Live and Die in L.A.?
To Live and Die in L.A.
All right, I'm going to check that one out. Cool. So, yeah. All right, so on that note, since it's Father's Day, let's go into what are your top or bottom 5? I guess we can go from there, and then we can just kind of rate them all. We'll see. This is the first time we're going to try a top and bottom.
Yeah.
The best and worst of whatever.
Right.
So dads in pop culture, in geek culture, whatever.
All right. So we have to define some terms. Like, what makes the best dad and what makes the worst dad?
I the beholder, dude.
Here's the thing. So many sitcoms play the dad, and this didn't used to be the case, right? Like My 3 Sons and Father Knows Best. Like, dad was it, right? And mom was kind of behind the scenes and no big deal. If there was no mom on My 3 Sons. But then dads became morons, right? Like,
yeah, they become
Tool Time, all those shows, Home Improvement,
Married with
Children, right? Like, dad's a
The
doofus.
Simpsons.
Yeah, dad's a doofus.
Yeah,
a well-meaning doofus.
He became the butt of the mom jokes. The mom's ones that had to carry everything and do everything.
Like Home Improvement, Tim is a doofus until he goes and has that talk with Wilson and then sort of figures it out, and by the end of the episode it's okay, and he's like a great dad. But he spends the first 3/4 of the episode being a doofus.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, and I guess, like I said, it's all kind of like in the eye of the beholder. Like, I'll give you, like, perfect example, like, for me, right? One of the top dads for me, right, in cinema is Vito Corleone,
right?
The Godfather.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
All right? Now, okay, he's in the mob. He's
dude.
a bad guy, right?
Bad dude.
Bad guy. But everything this guy did was for the betterment of his family.
Yeah.
He had that dream. He wanted his kids to be better than he was.
Yeah.
And then he had that last hope in Michael. And you can see it in that one scene when they're sitting there talking. And he says, like, you see how much love and adoration he has for his son. Mm-hmm. And he's telling him how he envisioned him as Senator Corleone or Governor Corleone, right? Yeah. But it never. He's like, I never wanted this for you. Mm-hmm. And that's when you see, like, the heartache and the because he had visions for his kids to be better than he was, but he would do anything for his family. Even if that meant dropping a horse head in your bed. You know? So, I mean, to me, okay, he is one of the best fathers in our, maybe not our culture that we always talk about, but as far as like, Godfather is one of my favorite movies.
Yeah.
1 and 2. Those, I kind of lump them together.
He's a good granddad, too, because at the end, he's playing with his grandkid. Like,
and he drops dead,
doing the thing, and when he has the heart attack.
Yeah, he's playing out in the field.
Yeah.
The orange groves.
Okay.
So there you go. So that's just off the beaten path there. That was one of my top ones.
Yeah.
So how about you, Eric?
So playing a bit off what Paul said, there was this sort of shift, right, where it became like comedic, and every TV dad was sort of like a trope or something. It was really bizarre, right?
Yep.
Until Dan Connor and Roseanne came around, and it was like very like real, It was like a real family. It was like. It wasn't perfect, but he tried to like do the right stuff, and it was like working class, and it was tough, and they were living page like no series really did that before at all. Even going back before it was comedic, they really
like even the Married with Children stuff. It was Al was just funny.
Yeah. So for me, I think that was a cool one, and they put in a lot of I guess realistic stuff, right? He had the heart attack, and they cheated on his wife, I guess, and they split, and there was like they did a lot of different stuff, right? That was like real life though, and through the whole thing, he's always trying to be like that good dad for your kids and stuff. So for me, that's maybe not a success, but that's like it's definitely on my top list.
Yeah, I got a real complicated one because I was thinking about this earlier. Bill Cosby in the Cosby Show.
Oh, he's on mine.
As Dr. Huxtable
Yeah.
is really complicated because the character is a good dad. We all thought at the time Bill Cosby's a good dad. Like he's the dad that you wanted. And then you find out he's been sexually assaulting women for like a decade.
When I got older and I started to hear those allegations, I knew that shit was true. I knew it. So yeah, I was just like something about that.
So disappointing.
So many women come out. Yeah,
but like, I think back to the Cosby Show, and there's an episode, one of the first ones, when Theo wants to be like, he's like, you're a doctor and mom's a lawyer. I just want to be regular people. So like breaks out the Monopoly game and he hands him a bunch of money and he's like, okay, well, let's say you make this. This is how much your rent's going to cost. This is for clothes and this is for food and what. And he's left with nothing. And he's like, see, like that kind of lesson.
Yeah,
was cool stuff.
Yeah, and we can, because he was literally like my number one.
It was like he was America's
my
dad.
number one. Yeah,
he was America's dad for years, and so not just the character. And there was this weird blend of like, where did Bill Cosby the person start and Dr. Huxtable end, and they were just sort of the same. And then you find out later that he was a scumbag, and you're like, oh man.
Which is really funny that you say that. Now, one thing I think maybe we'll talk about offline as far as like the top and bottom list when we start to like really get into, say, like a separate episode where we're only doing like we're rating stuff. When we talk about him, let's say like we actually make a serious list, and he's my number one. If you mention him, I might say just hold off until later, and we'll talk about it. You know what I mean? Like we'll start from the bottom up, kind of thing. Show planning, kind of housekeeping later. But I just wanted to get that out there so somebody would remember it because I'll forget. But for the Cliff Huxtable, I'll try to separate the two, right? Cliff Huxtable and Bill Cosby. But it's funny that you mentioned you find out later after you're watching how these two kind of blended together. There was that one episode. And I swear I showed you this a clip. It's on YouTube, right? And I'm going to have to pause this and show you guys. But it's about his barbecue sauce. Have you guys seen this? All right. They're in their backyard, right? You know, like the sitcom backyard was like AstroTurf and shit, right? So they're in the backyard and like he's grilling ribs or whatever. And his wife turns around and says like, look at them. And like the adult children are like, cuddling on the bench with each other and kissing each other and whatever, and
Sandra and Elvin.
Yeah, and the other one too, Denise or whatever they call it. Yeah, and he goes, "Well, that's because it's my sauce," and she goes, "What?" He goes, "My sauce. It puts you in the mood." And he goes on this whole thing about he's like, "It's in my sauce, whatever," and I got a cup of it up on the nightstand. Come on up.
Oh no,
I'm dead serious. I got to show you this, dude. Oh, God. Do we pause this? We got to pause this.
Pause it.
Told you.
Oh, my God. That's hysterical.
That's terrible.
It's so
right.
he comes off as so creepy in that thing. He's like staring down. You can't really tell where he's looking, but you can tell he's like oogling her, and it's super like you're in my personal space, kind of rapey. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Now, all right. So for those of you who don't know what we're talking about, obviously you know the whole Bill Cosby thing, whatever. Just go to YouTube and start typing in Cosby Show. The first thing that pops up is Cosby Show barbecue sauce. Play that first episode or the first link, and it shows you the little snippet I'm talking about. Yeah. It's freaking hilarious. Yeah. It's like he just told everybody in America, "Here, look, this is what I'm doing.
This is what I'm doing."
So yeah. But yes, I would.
And everybody at the time was like, "Oh, you're so funny, America's Dad. That's great.
Yeah,
you go get you some."
And the minute he went to court, the first thing you see on YouTube is Cosby Show barbecue sauce.
Yeah.
Like, dude, really? Hey, it was art imitates life.
Right.
See? There you go.
That's funny.
But I would still, as much as we want to sit here and joke about him all day long, I would put Cliff Huxtable at the top because he was, as far as, because it was the other, because he was always with Theo. 'Cause Theo was hard-headed, dude.
Yeah.
Do you remember the one where they're having this whole big thing, and it's funny, too, because, like, Theo's, like, just pissed off, and he wants to run away, this or that, whatever, and Cosby goes into his room, and the kid has this whole spiel about, how you want me to do this and that, whatever, blah, 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 and he ends it with, why can't you just love me for me? And the whole audience starts cheering, right? And in one split second, he flips it on him, right? Because he goes, why can't you just love me for me? Like, because I'm your son. And the audience erupts in cheers. And then Bill Cosby looks at him and he goes, that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard in my life. And then everybody starts laughing. It's like, okay, duh. But yeah, like he flips the script on him. Like they were all backing this kid. And they're like, oh, wait, no, that is kind of dumb. So that was like one of my favorite parts of an episode. It was just that little speech. It was hilarious. So yeah, sorry, he's number one for me. So he's up on your list too. So that eliminates one out of mine. Let's say we'll go with one of the worst, Jack Torrance in The Shining. And scene.
Right.
I love when the two of them pause for a second and then they both start laughing at the same time. Yeah, I know, I got you. So Jack Torrance, played by Jack Nicholson in The Shining, an adaptation of Stephen King's book. He's haunted by spirits in the Overlook Hotel and is chasing after his wife and kid all over this fucking thing.
Yep.
So Father of the Year he's not, but hey, it happens. All right, anybody else? A bad one?
Tony Soprano.
There you go. All right.
He probably did every parenting mistake you could. He's like probably the opposite of the Godfather in that sense.
Yeah. I was about to say you got the flip sides of the coin.
He was completely inconsistent with how he treated them when they did bad shit. When they did something like immoral, he would ignore it if he could get away with it. If he could without his wife saying anything. He tried to give them money and gifts all the time, right, to get their affection. And
he was going to buy Meadow, putting her through college or whatever. Yeah.
Pitting his kids against his wife. When they're fighting about anything. Really.
He was a pretty bad dad.
And then his general just tendency to lash out at people, anybody.
Yeah, he's a bad one. How about you, Paul? You got any?
Really bad. I'm gonna go Frank Costanza as bad dad. Hysterical, right? Mm-hmm. But right, always yelling. Like you go like 2 sentences and then you start screaming. Yeah,
you're probably bad.
Yeah, not great.
You might want to get your blood pressure checked.
Serenity now. Although he did introduce a new holiday. Festivus for the rest of us. So that gives you some points.
There you go. You get the Festivus poll, right?
That's right.
Was it a poll? Yeah.
But it was the the feats of strength and then the airing of the grievances.
Yeah.
And I got a lot of problems with you people.
We might need that in my house. All right, another good one. I'm going to go, since you took Cliff Huxtable away from me. I'll go the easy, we'll go the easy route, like when I was a little kid. Charles Pa Ingalls. We've talked about him a couple times. just guy working his ass off in Little House on the Prairie, played by Michael Landon. Yeah, just always out there for his family, out there for his kids, busting his ass.
Yeah,
and trying to do the right thing by everybody. So he was
honest, good dude. Yeah,
he was a role model. So that was a good one. How about you guys? Bueller.
Bueller.
So I've got one that I feel like is good, but
we can break it down.
If you can be the opposite as a guy to Pa Ingalls, but still being a good dad as the dad from Full House.
Oh yeah, Danny Tanner.
Yeah,
yeah,
like just kind of wimpy, like still good, right? Like
a good guy.
He's
just
made a good house for DJ and Stephanie and the Olsen twins and whatever, and Uncle Jesse and Joey and like the whole casting. But cut it out. But like as you're thinking about like that's a man, like Pa Ingalls is a man's man, right? Like can go out and fix the roof of the log cabin and do all that stuff. Danny Tanner is like
a metrosexual and a millennial combined.
Yeah, like
whoops,
like really wussy early '90s man.
Yeah, there you go.
But still like a good dad.
Yeah, overall, teaching good life lessons and whatever, but
like all super sensitive.
Yeah,
I feel like
I thought he was good.
I had him on my list too, but I feel like that show took sort of all the different personas of dads and then gave a handful to each character.
Yeah,
that's pretty good actually. Yeah.
And so for that reason, I didn't feel like he was a complete person. Really, he was kind of like
he was
the soft, sensitive side of dad or whatever.
Yeah.
So I had a tough one with that. Actually, I had a tough one with a lot of those '80s and '90s sitcoms because they're kind of one-dimensional.
Yeah, a lot of them are. Yeah.
It's like I had to go more modern to find like some complexity, right? So, I have this is not good or bad. It's actually good and bad. But I have like Walter White from Breaking Bad on my list, right? Because they're much more deep, right? The way that they develop him, and he starts off like probably the epitome of being the good dad, like whatever I can do to get my family through this because I'm dead. I mean that's basically how it starts, right? But then by the end of it, with the Heisenberg persona and everything, I mean, he's the worst. Right. The absolute worst.
Yeah. Sure.
Right? So he's just this a whole across the spectrum thing.
So he fits both criteria.
Yeah, depending on what time you're looking at, what time period of the show.
Nice.
Yeah, that is a good one.
All right, for another worse one, I would say Tywin Lannister from Game of Thrones. Dude is constantly like just belittling and like attacking his kids.
Right.
Especially Tyrion. But yeah, he's constantly going after them. So he's like never happy with them at all. So that was definitely one of them.
Yeah, so
you'll see more of that later, Paul.
I had, Paul can appreciate this since it's already over, but I had Ned on my list because he's one of the only characters that gets to be sort of... I was going to put
him on the good side,
sort of honorable and noble and everything, and then he never gets it taken away because he's dead.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, right.
You can't stop it. And really, he's probably half the reason that everything happens to that family, right? Because he's got, like, misplaced sort of honor and... I'm just trying to do the right thing, even in the face of
death.
Face of a lot of things, I guess. But it's probably all his fault. But in the end, it's really him just trying to maintain that. And the kids reference things he said like all the way through the seasons
series.
And
sure,
stuff.
Yeah. No, I was definitely going to put him on my list of good dads, but I wanted to keep it at 5. So. Yeah, but he was definitely up there for me.
Yeah, I didn't do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I just kind of had.
I made a list of 5
random
each.
Note list here.
Yeah. How about you, Paul? As he's scrolling through.
Yeah. So
on the fly.
I sort of thinking about these because he's a little bit more complicated. You can't go back too far because I was like, well, what about the dad from Happy Days? But again, those older shows, like Dad was all the things.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of one-dimensional.
Yeah, he went from being all the things to none of the things.
Yeah,
because women needed... Never mind.
But Red...
Shut the box, Pandora. Shut the box.
Red, the dad from that 70s show.
Yeah. I like him.
Yeah. I would go good dad for him.
Yeah.
Right? Like, even though he calls his son a dumbass all the time. He is kind of a dumbass.
If that's a criteria for good or bad, I suck. At least his kid is older.
But
should hear the way I talk to the 7-year-old.
But he sort of needed it, and then he's just kind of being real.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I liked him a lot. One of my favorite parts every time. You're like, shut up, dumbass.
Yeah.
All right, who would I got left? Let me see. Bad, good, bad. All right, let me go good. Offshoot, not really in geek culture, but just because it's one of my favorite movies, because it was different at the time, and then they redid so many different takes on it that was a pain in the ass. But Brian Mills from Taken. Liam Neeson?
Yeah.
Hey, look, talk about a dad that's going to do whatever he's got to do.
Right, great lengths to protect you.
Yeah.
Well, not protect you, but go find you.
Yeah, and it's funny, too, because in the very beginning of that, he seems like an overbearing dad, but he's just protective. Now, conveniently for, the movie, something does happen, so he's justified in his overbearing protectiveness, but he is kind of like, in the very beginning, is like, I could see where, like, yeah, you're just a pain in the ass as a dad, but then, all that shit happens, and he has a certain particular set of skills that he's gonna, and then he unleashes hell on everybody, and I love that movie.
That's a good
But
one.
after that, then, like, even the second one was okay, but then I don't even remember if I watched the third one, but that was because by that point, it was just, like, kind of a whole genre of older stars in action, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And it got really tiring up until John Wick. And then John Wick kind of made it cool again, know? So, I don't know. So, yeah, it was kind of like, I got tired of seeing all those damn movies. I was like, son of a bitch. But the first one, I remember it being, like, really kick-ass. It was cool.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So I like Brian Mills. He was cool.
Quick tangent about John Wick, because I just saw the first one, and I know that 3 is just about to come out or has come out. He's really upset about that dog, man.
It wasn't just a puppy. He says that. It kind of like it represented everything in his wife.
Yeah, I get it, but I was trying to explain it to a friend of mine who hadn't seen any of them, and he's like, "What's it about?" I'm like, "It's really about a guy whose dog dies, and he just goes absolutely apeshit and he starts killing everybody in super violent ways."
I mean, I get it. Yeah. I get the joke too, because
Yeah.
that's the first thing I make is I make the joke. But yeah, I get the whole story thing where it's like, it was a gift from his wife. It was like the last thing he had from her, or whatever. So I get it. And I mean, and that one scene totally breaks your heart too. When that puppy crawls over to him, you're like, really? You couldn't just like make it look like the dog was just dead.
Correct.
No, the fucking thing's got to be dying and crawling over to him. Thank you very much. Thanks.
Yeah, it gives me an idea for some other day. Badly explaining.
We're not killing a dog.
Badly explaining movies to each other.
Oh my god! Yes, let's do that. That would be great.
Down.
Write that down. Kind of like in the vein of like the Honest Movie trailer.
Yeah.
But like just like badly breaking down movies. Our version of Breaking Bad. There you go.
Yeah.
Breaking down.
Yeah,
Nice.
too long didn't watch. Here's what it's about.
Yeah, there you go. Too long didn't watch.
John Wick, man's dog dies, he goes crazy.
Murders everyone for 3 movies.
I love this.
For 3 straight movies, right?
But one thing I really do love about John Wick is they keep the bullet count. That is accurate, dude. Like you see as he's reloading.
Oh yeah, he has to reload several times, even
Yeah.
in the first one.
Yeah, he keeps that count. It's cool. So they pay very close attention to like those details.
Yeah.
Which I do like. But now I am also one who, when you do give me like a, I don't know, Doom or some random dumb movie that I know, all right, we're already kind of like, okay, Godzilla. I know I'm not going to be paying attention to how many rounds are coming out of this gun. And they said, we know you're not paying attention to how many rounds are coming out of this gun, so neither are we. No. And it's just infinity bullets. Sometimes it depends on what kind of movie they're trying to make, you know what I mean? Mm. If they're just going balls to the wall, then I'm like, fuck, whatever, yeah, cool. Yeah. If you're trying to make a more realistic movie, then there's like that part of me, like somewhere in that middle area where I get taken out of it, and I'm like, how many rounds are in that damn handgun? This guy's been shooting for an awfully long time.
You guys, you ever see Last Action Hero?
Yeah.
Yes, a long time ago.
So they play off that in the movie. I remember when he's in the real world shooting and he runs out of bullets.
Yeah.
Like, wait, what? All right, we got way off track there, didn't we?
We did, yeah, we did. We started talking about John Wick and
you
bullets
guys,
and puppies.
either of you have Showtime? You watch Shameless?
I did watch it. It was on Netflix for a while too.
Was it? Oh yeah,
I think it still is.
It still is.
Yeah, all the old. Not
I watched a
current
few of
episodes.
them, and my wife watched like everything. So yeah, it was a really good. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say Frank Gallagher in that show is like probably the worst dad in
world.
history. I mean, he's a drunk. He scams the government all the time, and his kids, I guess, when he can get away with it, and he makes their life generally impossible. So I think that's.
Yeah, he's literally shameless. Yeah, it's
But
it's a really good show. Though.
It's purely like shock and awe, though. Like whatever moment you think is coming, it's worse.
Yeah,
with him, like it's just terrible. It's
Oh,
always terrible.
Yeah. I got for another worse one, Darth Vader.
Yeah,
you got to go for it. Sorry.
Yeah.
You know?
First act is to cut your son's hand off.
Right.
That's
Yeah, exactly. Well,
Hey, I'm
now,
your dad. Bye.
unknowingly at the time, and I still have a little bit of irritation with the fact that he didn't realize he didn't sense anything in Leia when they were together on the Star Destroyer or whatever. Fine, okay. First act, even though he doesn't know it's his daughter, is he blows up her adopted planet.
right.
I'm going to annihilate all your fucking people. I'm going to cut your brother's hand off. And then I'm going to try to convince him to help me rule the galaxy under the guy that turned me into a fucking robot.
Right.
So, I mean, he does have some redemption later, where he chucks Emperor Palpatine down a pit. But yeah, as far as dads go, not great. So yeah.
Can we have adoptive dads?
Sure, yeah, throw him in there.
Thanos.
He's on my list too. See, there you go, bump him straight up.
Worst.
On the worst.
Oh my god, yeah.
For throwing
You
her
turn
over
one,
the cliff.
you turn one daughter into a robot.
Right.
You chuck your other one off a cliff.
Right.
Jeez.
Turn her into a robot and torture her repeatedly
Yeah.
to get to your other daughter.
Right.
Finally, chuck her off a cliff.
That's right.
No, it's for the good of the universe. I swear.
Sorry, honey. I'm going to turn up this pain dial here because I need to find the location of your sister.
Oh my god. Yeah, he was on my. Yeah.
Who I took, by the way, Gamora. Who I took after I killed half of your planet's people.
Yeah,
you're
there
just
you
going to
go.
come with me.
I'm going to murder half of your people. I'm going to turn you into an assassin. I'm going to turn your sister or your adopted sister into a robot.
Yep. Oh, and then I'm going to kill half of everything in the galaxy.
Yeah. I'm going to kill you first. Jeez. Yeah, he wins. He was like the top one on my list. I was saving him. Good job.
Sorry.
No, you're good. Hey, that's twice, you fucker. You took both of my top ones. I think that's like all of them. I got the last one I got for like the good ones would be Uncle Phil from Fresh Prince.
Oh yeah.
I mean, he's not Will's dad, but he is a dad there, and then he's like the father figure for Will.
Yep.
Yeah.
And there's plenty of.
Because Will gets in one fight in West Philadelphia on the playground, and
that's it.
Gotta move.
Take your ass to Beverly Hills.
Right.
I never had that option.
Right.
Got a whole lot of fights, jeez. But yeah, I loved Uncle Phil. I thought he was great.
Yeah, Uncle Phil's awesome.
Yeah, especially just hey, look, I'm in this situation. Whatever, fine. I'm gonna raise you too.
Yeah.
And he was, he was there to protect them. He was there to let them learn their own lessons and stuff too. So it was kind of cool. He was really good. I think him and Cliff Huxtable are in my top two.
Yeah.
Those are my top two. So yeah, those are my top and bottom dads in entertainment, I guess.
Yeah.
So that's everybody.
I'm good. I'm out.
Yeah, we're tapped out. I think it was a good list. So you guys jump online and let us know what you guys think. Who did we miss, or who are we not thinking of? Who's your favorite dad, or who's the most horrible dad in the world? Fictional.
Right.
We are not licensed therapists. Do not email me your life story.
Right.
Ooh, I almost opened a can of worms on that
Right. Let me tell you about my dad.
one. It'd be like Chunk and Goonies.
Right.
Then when I was 3. Oh shit. Okay. Yeah. Don't do that. But email us what you think the top and bottom. Every time I say that, it just goes south on me. I'm just like, this is not going to come out right. The best and worst dads in entertainment are. And let us know what you think of our list. And hit us up. We are at whatifgeeks@gmail.com. Again, another shout out to Todd Coopy. I hope I'm saying your name right, dude. Check him out at toytales.ca. That's his website. He's got all kinds of cool stuff on there. I kind of breezed through it real quick. I'm going to get on it again later and check it out. Cool. But all right, that's it, guys. Hit us up on all the majors, and we will talk to you soon. Happy Father's Day to all the dads out there.
Happy Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day to you guys.
All right. Good night, Tony.
Good night, Mom.
Good night, Todd.
There it is.